welcome back to another video. Apologies if you can hear my laptop in the background literally sounding like it's going to take off. I'm just downloading another video ready to upload to YouTube, but I thought I would start this video now. I've not long got back from the hairdressers. I don't know whether you can tell. I went for very subtle highlights, and she's actually sort of put them all underneath like the main root of my hair, so that I basically don't get roots, but it's nice and like bright throughout. Obviously this is all wedding prep. I have wanted to get my hair done for a while because I haven't had it coloured in quite a few years, to be honest. This is pretty much my natural colour, and all I've ever done to it is half a head of highlights that I used to get sort of maybe twice a year. I would get half a head, and then I probably haven't had it coloured since maybe it's before COVID or just after COVID, but it's been a long time since I've put any colour in it, and I do want it a little bit brighter for the wedding, so I've got it done now, and then I won't have it done between now and the wedding, and I'll probably get it done a couple of weeks before the wedding, maybe, just to give it a little bit of time to settle. Obviously nothing drastic, I'll just probably get a similar thing again. I know some people wanted to know a little bit more about the wedding, so if you do have any like specific questions, let me know. But I've just ordered the bridesmaids dresses because that's been something that's just sort of been a bit of an ongoing search, I suppose. I did find some on Shein a few months ago, and they were actually really nice dresses. The only downfall was that they weren't the right colour, otherwise I would have 100% had those dresses. And they were £37, which was just great, because I'm really reluctant to spend a lot of money on the bridesmaid dresses, obviously because they're only worn for like one day. I suppose it's the same with the wedding dress, but I have splashed out a little bit on my wedding dress. But yeah, obviously I want the bridesmaids to look and feel beautiful, but ideally I would have liked to have found a little bit of a bargain. But I've been searching for quite a few months now, and the colour that I'm going for, mainly for the bridesmaid dresses, to be honest, because there's not so much of a theme, I wouldn't say. We still need to have meetings with our actual venue about just all of the little details and stuff, but in terms of everything else, like we're not bringing in a lot of colour in any other area of the wedding, so the bridesmaid dresses were the one thing that sort of, I suppose, represents the colour scheme that you are going for. And for me, from the very beginning, that's always just been neutral. I knew I didn't want anything too colourful. There's loads and loads of colours that I really like, and I maybe would have gone for a different colour if it had been a different time of year. I was reluctant to go for any kind of pink because I just feel like that's quite a popular wedding colour. I do really like green, but again I feel like that's quite popular, which obviously isn't a bad thing. I just think a lot of the time you want to try and be a little bit different, don't you? So not that it is different, it's probably a popular colour, but the colour that I've gone for is, originally in my head I thought like champagne, sort of beige basically, but the actual colour of the dresses that I've gone for is taupe. Here's the doggy. Hi Nelson. Hello, do you want to cuddle? Come on then. There he is. There's Nelson. Say hello. Oh, he's tired. But yeah, we found these dresses a couple of weeks ago on this website. They are a little bit more expensive. I've not been able to find the bargain dress that I really wanted to find, but I wouldn't say that I'm running out of time, but it's just something that I need to just get ordered and something else ticked off the list really. I definitely don't want to leave it too late. This is the dress that I've ended up going for. So it's from JJ's House. Yeah, that is the dress that I've gone for. And then what we're going to do is, with whatever is cut off from the length of these dresses, we're hoping that there'll be enough fabric cut off the bottom to make Louis' dicky bow out of exactly the same material. So he will wear a different colour to his best men. I think they're all just wearing a black dicky bow, and he'll have the same colour as the bridesmaids. I started making a mood board a couple of nights ago, just really with pictures of like centerpieces and stuff. So I'll show you what I have put together so far. This is what I've got so far. So this is sort of what I'm thinking for the centerpieces. I'm thinking little bud vases like this with gypsophilia and white roses, very neutral, and green. Again, I don't want anything too colourful, but I love these candlesticks as well. I'm thinking of bringing in some gold candlesticks, and yeah, just having a little bit of like a scattered centerpiece, and really for every table to be slightly different. I'm not too bothered about it all being perfect. I think that'll just look lovely. Obviously our wedding is in August, so it is like peak summer, so I just think that all of these little bud vases will look really nice on the tables. And I've just got this image here for the table plan. So I'm actually just thinking of using a mirror that we've already got. There's two mirrors to choose from that we've already got. One of them is like a gold colour like this, and the other one is white. I'll show you them at some point in this video if I know where they are. But yeah, I know that we've got some really nice mirrors, and I do actually quite like this idea on here of having cards just stuck on the mirror. Alternatively, you can get those white pens that you can write onto glass or mirror. So that was sort of my plan really, was literally just to write the table plan onto the mirror or stick on some cards like this, and just have the mirror sort of propped up or stood on a table like that. Yeah, I just think that that looks really nice, and it's a really cheap and easy way to like display the seating plan. And then this was another image that I found on Pinterest that I just really liked the idea of. So this is actually little picture frames with pressed flowers inside, and then they've obviously just either written or stuck on the frame itself the table number. And I just thought that'd be really nice in the middle of the table, obviously with all of like the bud vases and candlesticks and little tea lights. And yeah, that's just sort of my aesthetic for the wedding so far. To be honest, I'm not really sure what else I need to do at this point. I think really the next thing for us is to have like meetings and discussions with the venue themselves and our florist. Luckily our florist works really closely with our venue, so they already have a relationship. My best friend and maid of honour is a baker in her spare time, so we're really lucky that she is doing our cake for us, so I don't have to worry too much about the cake. I did screenshot a couple of pictures the other day actually of cakes that I quite liked the look of. So I don't know how well you can see that, but it's just got sort of like little pearls on it, as obviously as well as like the flowers and stuff. I think that is really pretty. I think that that looks absolutely gorgeous. It's literally just sort of like a textured cake, like there's not much else to it, but I just love the look of it. I suppose that would probably look a little bit more plain if it didn't have all of the flowers around it, but yeah, that's just a little bit of an idea of a few things that we have decided on and been looking at for the wedding. Yeah, that's the update with our wedding so far. If there's anything else that you do want to know, then just pop it in the comments. But yeah, that's wedding planning. So guys, I'm doing a typical me thing to do, and it is actually a brand new day from the last clips that you've seen. It's now the following day, but I am just getting ready to start painting this bathroom ceiling, because if I don't do it now, then I'll never do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna get everything prepped. I don't know whether there's another tub of paint downstairs. I'll have to have a look, but I've sort of put the painting things in here just so that they're separate. The understair cupboard downstairs really triggers me. I just feel like it's a breeding ground for spiders, even though I've actually never seen a spider in there. It's just one of those like creepy little areas that I don't like, and all of this was in there, and I took this out a couple of weeks ago and brought it up here just so that when I came to start painting, because I knew that I had a lot of painting to do, I wanted everything to be sort of easily accessed. So I've got this big tub. This one's already been opened, so I'll see what this one looks like inside. Hopefully this will be alright and I'll just use this. Oh, why is it wet? Right, so it's not looking great to start with, and it has got loads of little flaky bits in it. But I'm going to go downstairs and get my little like stirrer thing, give this a stir and see how it comes out, because this paint is probably only about, maybe it's about a year old, or it's maybe been like open for a year, because I painted the bedroom ceiling and did like a whole transformation of that probably around about this time last year. So the paint isn't like really old. So I'll give this a stir. Oh yeah, this is fine. There we go. It's looking as good as new. So yeah, I'm literally just going to go downstairs, get my paintbrush and start like putting this on the ceiling now, I think. Let's begin. I've just finished painting. I didn't get much footage of me actually painting because my memory card ran out and I was in the painting zone. So this is how it's looking. I've just finished. You can still see some little patches that are wet, but obviously this is just one coat, which I wasn't really planning on doing any more than one, because I don't even think a second coat would make it look much better. Obviously it is textured, it is cracked, that is just how it is. It was never going to look perfect. This is just sort of an improvement, which is all I was hoping for. So I'm really happy with how it looks. I did end up just doing it all with a paintbrush, which was great. So I'm just going to give this a quick clean now. And yeah, I'll just leave this for the rest of the day, see how it dries up, and then if I really feel like I want to go in with a second coat, I will. It probably took me maybe an hour. Yeah, it wasn't too bad at all really. It's only a small room, so all of the painting stuff is clean. I'm just about to put something in the slow cooker. I've been loving like really easy slow cooker meals recently. Obviously because we still don't have a permanent kitchen set up, this is really easy to obviously just throw stuff in the slow cooker. I don't have to worry about making a mess or cooking anything later on. So one thing that I do quite a lot in the slow cooker is basically just a chicken curry. Now I know people out there will probably do this properly. I literally put like a chicken breast and a jar of curry sauce into the slow cooker, and like that is it. This is the one that I usually get. It's the chicken tikka extra creamy one. I always get the extra creamy one because Louis has got like a pure phobia of onions. He won't eat onions in anything. If he realises that there's onions in it, he will just like refuse like a child and not eat it, or he'll pick each individual tiny onion out. I literally just put this whole jar in the slow cooker with the chicken breast. I sometimes put some veg in as well, just to like pad it out a little bit, but it's literally the easiest thing ever. And I then just leave it for probably for about five or 6 hours on low. And popped some makeup on to make myself look and feel a little bit more put together. And while I was upstairs, my Amazon order actually arrived. So it arrived in 2 separate deliveries. I don't know why. So this came just through the post. So this is the Rub and Buff, like sort of furniture paint sort of thing. You basically like rub it on, which is why it's called Rub and Buff. But I bought this to try on a few different things. I think Louie's mum has got a light fitting that she's not using, and she said that we can have, and I think I've mentioned this in a previous video or earlier in this video, I can't remember, but it's like a sort of antique silver colour, and I wanted to give it more of like a brass or like bronze colour. So I went for Spanish copper, which is like a really dark brown coppery bronzy colour rather than like gold. I think there was an antique gold, but I don't want it to be too light and like yellowy. I really want it to be more of like a deep brown sort of bronze colour. So yeah, I'll give that a go at some point. And then candles have arrived. So these pretty much are exactly what I was expecting. I think Louie's mum might actually have got the same ones for her new kitchen. So I got more of the knobs, which I've already showed you. They're on some of the doors already because I had these exact knobs that I bought like a couple of years ago for a different project, and I had some left over, so I've used the ones that I had left on the kitchen already, but I did need just a few more. So that is the knob. Really simple, just again like a nice deep antiqued bronze sort of finish. I think these are about £7 for possibly 12. Yeah, 12 of those. And then these are the cup handles that I went for. So the colour is actually really good. They're not identical, but considering like they're not part of the same range or anything, I'm more than happy with that. They'll look perfect when they're on. These again I think are about £8 for a pack of 12. Like you get loads of them, but as you can probably sort of hear, like the very cheap like plastic, which to be honest for me is fine for £8. I feel like you sort of get what you pay for, and these look good, and as long as they do the job, obviously they're not going to be on our kitchen permanently, but yeah, they're ideal for what we'll actually use them for. The only thing that I'm not sure about is the size of them. So if I go, I don't know whether you can see this very well, but if I sort of hold that up there, I'm probably way too far away, but they are very, very small, which again was another thing that I was pretty aware of, because the ones that Louie's mum ordered looked very small on her kitchen as well. But I mean, obviously the handle that's on there already is quite big, it's quite long, and that is much smaller, and I don't know whether it's just going to look a little bit lost like on the actual door itself. Same with the drawers, it's just teeny tiny compared to the other handles. But yeah, obviously we're only going to have these cup handles on these 3 drawers and probably on like the 2 tall units. So yeah, I think now that these have arrived, I can sort of plan to start the little kitchen reno, which will be exciting. Finished with the banister. I've also done, oh, gone out of focus. I've also done this little section here, just because that was actually the same colour as the ceiling, and I don't know how well you can tell, but the ceiling is actually like a really pale pink. So yeah, I just did that bit as well because it looked even more pink against that bit that I'd painted white. So it's all looking nice and bright. So hopefully this should all be fine after 1 coat. I only did 1 coat on this section, but the actual banister bit at the top and probably this post here is potentially going to need another coat once this one's dry. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So ignore the really bad lighting. I do currently have the lights on and it's just about to get dark outside, but I have basically very impulsively started a brand new project. I don't know whether I've mentioned this in like any of my recent videos, because since I've done the like stairs transformation, I knew that I wanted to paint the walls in the hallway basically. So I'll show you what the walls look like, because the whole like hallway, stairs and landing was all wallpapered. So we stripped all of the wallpaper when like we first moved in like last year. That was all stripped, and underneath the wallpaper is basically just like the plaster, I think. I'm not even really sure what it is on the walls. You'll see what I mean when I show you them, but they're basically like not painted or anything, and we definitely need them plastering as well as the ceilings, but it's going to cost us quite a lot to obviously plaster all of like the hallway downstairs, up the stairs, all of this landing and the ceilings. So basically my idea was if I could get just some cheap paint and obviously do it as cheap as possible, because eventually we will just be plastering over all of this paint. So I really don't want to put too much time and money into it, but I do think that painting these walls will just really transform the hallway, and then we can live with it for as long as we need to, whether that might be a year until we can actually get it plastered, at least my mind will be put at rest and it'll just look a lot better. So I've basically like just jumped 10 steps ahead, and it's about 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and I have literally just started painting because I'm motivated, I'm in the mood, I want to see it transform. I'm literally just doing 1 coat of white to start with, but then I have got a colour that I'll go downstairs and show you as well, because we've just been to Discount DIY and they had a whole section of basically clearance paints, and there was Dulux paint, there was Crown paint, there was like all sorts of different like good brands, and they were in the clearance for £6.99 for a 2.5 litre tub of paint, which is just perfect because I was looking for a cheap paint. So I ended up picking up 3 tubs. I'll show you the colour downstairs. I've also done some testers, but this is basically what the hallway looks like at the moment. So obviously the reason why I don't want to spend a lot of money on this is the fact that this is the situation here because we don't have a door or anything. Obviously this needs, the plasterer needs to fix that when he plasters everything else. The ceiling at the moment is sort of like a pink colour. You can see where I've started painting over here. So I do need to paint all of the ceilings and the walls. But like for example, this wall here, this is the tester that I've done. It does look quite dark, but we're just gonna have to go with it. But this wall here obviously is chased where we've done the rewire, but overall I think a lick of paint on this will just, it'll disguise everything a little bit more, and I just think that it will really like, not even brighten it up, but it'll just make the hallway look a lot nicer. So like this wall here and like the bulkhead of the stairs, this is sort of like a yellowy colour, but I just think if I paint all of this, it's just gonna look so much better. I'm gonna paint all of downstairs as well. So same with these walls. Obviously we've got lots of bits here that have been chased, but that's just how it is. There's nothing that we can really do about that. We've got things like this all over the house, patches that need filling in, bits of walls that have been chased. This is another tester here. I've done another tester here. So I'll try and show you this one while we've still got a little bit of daylight. So this was just a tester that I'd done with some paint that we already had, which is Pebble Shaw from Dulux, but that's just way too grey for me. I'm not into the grey at all. I wanted something a lot warmer, but I wanted something a little bit darker. This is maybe a little bit on the darker side than what I was actually hoping for, but I knew when we bought the paint, I knew it was going to be quite dark, but that sort of is the vibe that I wanted to go for, because obviously I've just done all of the stairs. This is all brilliant white. We've obviously got all of the flooring ready to lay. We've just been and bought this plywood today as well, which needs to go down in the hallway and in this living room in here, which basically needs completely emptying. So I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, basically within the next like, I don't know, couple of months maybe, we could have all of the flooring laid, a nice lick of paint on the walls, and we can just sort of, yeah, have a little bit of like a transformation of the hallway. That is my plan. The colour is Picnic Basket by Crown. So what I've been doing today is basically I've scrubbed all of the walls upstairs and most of this wall, because it basically has a lot of little bits of backing paper left on it. So I don't know whether you can see, like here for example, these are all just very, very small little bits of backing paper. So all I've been doing is just going over with like a scrubby sponge, and that just brings off all of these little bits of backing paper ready for me to paint basically. So I still need to do downstairs, but downstairs isn't as bad as upstairs was. So I've done this wall here, and like all around the doors, and I've also done this bit and this bit because they were probably the worst. And yeah, I've just jumped straight in and started painting, just sort of cutting in around like the walls and the ceiling. I might possibly paint all of the ceiling tonight if I still have this burst of motivation. Then I might try and do all of the ceiling because that's probably the worst bit. So yeah, if I can get that done, and then obviously I'm just going to do a really quick coat of white paint everywhere, and then when it comes to doing the proper colour, I'll obviously sort of take my time with it, and that'll have to be a little bit of a neater job. But at the moment, because I'm just doing white everywhere, I can literally just like slap it on. Morning. It's now the next morning from when I last spoke to you. Ignore the state of me. I've not long been up, but I think I'm going to continue with a little bit of the painting in the hallway, which I really don't want to do. This is why I sort of started it yesterday, because I had that like burst of motivation that I think you need when you're going to do some painting, and I don't really have that this morning. My body is aching. Obviously I was painting like the ceiling and just using muscles that I don't normally use, so I'm feeling a little bit sore today, to be honest. But I just think if I don't continue now, it's Sunday, we're going out for tea a little bit later on today for my birthday, which is on Tuesday, but then obviously after today we're like back at work. I won't be doing any painting after work, I doubt. Definitely not beginning of the week, obviously, because it's my birthday and I'm definitely not painting on my birthday. So yeah, realistically it's probably going to be like next weekend by the time I've got like time to start painting again. So I'm not going to get like much done, to be honest. Sorry if you can hear the washing machine in the background. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to get like all of this hallway done. I don't think. I'm not in the mood to do all of it. But this is how far I got yesterday, so you can sort of see the difference here. This is obviously the bit that I've just done white. It's quite dark up here because we no longer have windows on this landing. If I open this bedroom door, that'll let a little bit of light in, but obviously this used to be our landing window, which we changed for a door, and that will be our bedroom. But yeah, this looks so much brighter already. Like, it looks a million times better. Obviously everything is looking very white at the moment because I've painted the banister, I've painted the walls, which is why I knew I wanted a different colour for this hallway. I could have just put a couple of coats of white on and just left it at that, but I know that that will annoy me. So another reason why I'm very glad I got those tubs of paint for so cheap. Yeah, it's just looking so much better. I actually can't believe that the walls look so good compared to like what they look like underneath. Sorry, the camera probably isn't going to focus very well because it's just a white wall, but yeah, I did this bit under here, this bit here, this wall, the ceiling, which definitely does need another coat. I don't know how well you can see on the camera, not very well at all because it's completely out of focus. But yeah, I don't know whether you can just sort of see all of the patches and stuff there. So I'm definitely going to do another coat on the ceiling, which is what I might do now because I think that's like the worst job, and if I can just get that out of the way, I might do a little bit further down like this main wall here, and then once I've done that I'll have to move on to like downstairs at some point, which I'll need a little bit more like prep. I think that's why I started with upstairs, because it was just a lot easier, whereas downstairs obviously we've got all of our like shoes and our shoe storage thing on attached to the wall, so I'm gonna have to move a lot of stuff before I start painting downstairs. So that probably will be a job that I'll start next weekend, so that I can like start and finish it in the weekend. So I didn't film any of me actually painting, but I've done a second coat on the ceiling. I've done a second coat on just this little underneath bit here, because I think I'll probably keep that white. And then I've continued a little bit further down this wall, but I'm not giving the actual walls a second coat of white. This is just sort of like a base coat. So yeah, that's me done with the painting for definitely for this weekend. Ignore the state of me. Yeah, like I said, it's currently Sunday, so I've done what I needed to do, and I probably won't be picking a paintbrush up until next weekend now. But yeah, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're interested to see this hallway complete, then keep an eye out for another video that will hopefully be coming very, very soon. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video.